Hello and welcome to this video of my top witchy decks. So I did a video of my top spooky decks and I have some more spooky tarot decks coming. Watch this space. Don't forget, if you want to see flip throughs and things like that, to hit the subscribe button. And I was thinking, while I was doing the spooky decks, what about my witchy decks? Because I do have quite a few of them. I think of all the oracles that I've got, I kind of fall more into the category of witch oracle decks than anything else. I do have other oracle decks that I love, but I think that witchy vibe kind of really hits me. So without further ado, we're going to go into my top 5 witchy decks. I have 4 that you could really class as kind of witchy in terms of the vibe and what they are. And I do have another one that, although it's not specifically witchy, I do love to kind of use it for your kind of more deeper readings, kind of getting into the surface, and that kind of gives me that like witch spooky vibe. Well, without further ado, we're going to get onto it. So my first deck, which started all of this off, and this was my first oracle deck that I purchased, was the Seasons of the Witch Oracle. Now, this is quite a famous one within the community. A lot of people have it, a lot of people love it. This was the first oracle deck I picked up, and I really did like working with it. Would I get the other decks? I don't think so, because there are a few little things that now I've been using oracle decks that kind of my style of reading doesn't really fit in with this, but I love using this for myself. I did an 11/11 portal read with this and it was amazing. I loved kind of using this to journal, to, especially with the guidebook. This is a deck that kind of, the guidebook really kind of brings it to life. So, I mean, this artwork is absolutely stunning, and you can take just the keyword. I would like them to have some other kind of keywords as well underneath. That's just kind of a bugbear of mine. I love to read more intuitively, and the keywords really kind of help me spring off in terms of reading without having to go and, look in the guidebook. But we've got beautiful kind of poetry underneath. Daughters of our mother, walkers of the unknown, take with you on this journey all that you hone. Like, can be a bit of a tongue twister when you're doing it on live readings and things like that, but the artwork is just stunning. I mean, it's just so hauntingly beautiful, and the words kind of help anyway. But I do think this is a good deck for journaling with, for kind of spending more time by yourself with it, because there is this beautiful poetry with it. There is a lot in the guidebook, and not every card is kind of what they seem. You kind of really have to have a bit of a grips of the guidebook with this if you're gonna kind of go out and do readings with it. But I have done really successful readings with it. I just kind of feel this is a little bit of a deck that kind of likes reading for me and likes it when I journal. It's kind of got that deepness, and it does clarify things quite well. I kept on getting pumpkin. Past couple of weeks I've been getting pumpkin popping out a lot. And yeah, the artwork is just stunning. It's just so beautiful. And it really does sing to me. But I don't think the appeal of the other decks like the Maben and the Lithia and the Imbolc, and maybe the Yule kind of gravitates a little bit more to me, but they don't really sing to me the way that this did. And I know I'm a spooky person. I love Samhain. I love kind of, it's spooky season all year round for me. So I do really, really like this. Whereas the others are a bit, they're a bit softer, and it doesn't kind of sing to me that the way this does. So yeah, this is the Seasons of the Witch Samhain Oracle, and it is absolutely perfect. Like, I got this card when I did 11/11 reading, and it was so perfect to describe what was going on last year, and it really did, come true. I've had a rebirth. I've left my job of 22 years, and lots of things have kind of changed since I pulled that card. It is such a beautiful, and this, I've got to say, this must be my favourite with the bat. Yeah, so that was the Samhain Oracle, the Seasons of the Witch. So the next one is the Green Witch Oracle, and I see this all over TikTok, mainly because there are some fake decks of it out there, so beware. This is a kind of a big size deck. If you see anyone trying to sell mini versions of this, they are fakes, and I will do a video soon about kind of my experience with fakes and things like that. I really do hate it. So this is the Green Witch, and I love this. It's got a softer kind of edge to it, and again, it's got the keywords at the bottom, it's got the word, and the artwork just really gives you all that you need. I really love this. It's a really gentle witch deck. So, if you've got anybody that's newly starting on their spiritual path, their spiritual journey, this is a really good deck to use with them. I do use this for witchy readings. So I do a witchy reading and I combine my witch decks, and I always go for this one. I always use this one because it's just so astute. It gives you the message, and you can really dig deep with this. The imagery is just absolutely stunning, and it's so intuitive. It gives you such intuitive hits. Whereas sometimes some oracles, I'm scratching my head and looking at the artwork. This kind of really does sing out with the intuition, and I love this imagery with this. So yeah, this is the Green Witch Oracle. A lot of people do have this because it is such a tried and tested deck. It is such a popular, and I mean the card stock is really good, which is what you don't get with the fake decks that you can kind of buy. Yeah, it really is good quality. So yeah, this is the Green Witch Oracle. Just throw you some cards there. And it's just, the artwork is just so stunning. Like, yeah, when I think about this having a lot of people like, selling fake decks and things like that, it makes me sad because this artwork is so beautiful. You can tell that loads of time and energy has been spent on this, and it's such a shame. So this is the Green Witch Oracle, and the backs are just absolutely beautiful. Right, so the next one is the Witch Oracle. So just simply the Witch Oracle, with this gorgeous back. My lovely beautiful friend Tam bought this me, and I've loved using it. It does get into it. It's not as general as the Green Witch. It does get a bit deeper in terms of, it gives you, there's so much in the guidebook. It gives you spells you can do. It gives you loads and loads of information if you're starting on your witch journey. So I find this really, really invaluable. I use this for my witchy reading, and it really does give some really, really, really good results. So, and I love this because it's black and red, and I love like the combination of black and red together is just absolutely stunning. Like the borders are beautiful, and it goes through all the like plethora of witchy experiences through there. It's really good like to intuitively read from as well. It's got like one word there. It would be nice if I had more than one word, but it's fine. It kind of reads quite well without having to dip in and out of the guidebook. You can use the guidebook obviously, and I'm a big advocate of using the guidebook. Don't be afraid of using the guidebook, because that's what it's there for, and it does give you a lot of information and a wealth of knowledge, but you can read it kind of intuitively as well with the pictures and the images. So yeah, this is, and I just love this artwork. It's so stunning. I love this style. Like, I love the hand-drawnness of it. That this is a beautiful card. And yeah, just, it's such a wonderful deck, and I don't see this being used a lot, and it's such a shame because I do think this is a really, really good deck for people, and it's got so much information in the guidebook. If you're newly starting out on your witchy journey, I would definitely say this book is really good just for the guidebook, because it gives you, you know, it gives you everything. Like Hecate gives you information about Hecate and how you can, you know, bring her in and things like that. And I think that's invaluable, you know, that's really valuable to new witches, because Hecate is kind of the witch that gets mentioned a lot, the goddess that gets mentioned a lot, sorry, not witch, but, and it can be really hard to find information, you know, regarding her. So yeah, this is, oh, I love that, just with the shadow there. And yeah, this is the Witch Oracle. So next, we're moving into decks that are not specifically catered towards kind of the witch vibe. They're not directly like witch oracles, but I do kind of have that feeling that they are very kind of witchy in themselves. Now, this next one is, and I think I included this in my most beautiful decks as well, check that video out. This is the Dark Goddess Oracle, and I just love this. It's such a good kind of, the artwork is absolutely stunning, but it is such a good deck to kind of get yourself started with deity work. I use these as kind of my altar cards sometimes. So if I'm working with a specific deity at the time, I will use the card associated with them, and then that means that I'm not having to kind of get like lots of statues and things like that. It's also taught me about lots of different pantheons and how there's overlaps between pantheons, and it's kind of really, this is a very good deck to work for kind of goddess energy, like working in for your self-love, kind of unleashing your inner goddess. This is a really, really good deck to use. That beautiful, how beautiful is Nyx? The hell, like, it really does give you such a wealth. I do wish the guidebook was a little bit more detailed. I know it's a mass market deck and it is smaller and like costs and things like that. I do wish the deck guidebook would go more into, because I want to know more about these characters. And yes, I could go on Google and I could find, you know, out the information, but again, it's kind of hard to decipher. And if you've got one book that really goes in deep about it, I think that'd be really, really kind of good. But it is good with the keywords. The keywords really give you a springing point to kind of go off. And there's Hecate. And it really does give you, it broadens your horizons in terms of the gods, goddesses. Again, you know, Hecate gets mentioned quite a lot, as does Lilith and Hel, but there are other goddesses that can be worked with, and it's just interesting to kind of go and look and explore into them and kind of broaden your horizons. So yeah, this is the Dark Goddess Oracle, and I love this so much. There's such beautiful images, such beautiful images. Yes, so that is the Dark Goddess Oracle. Now, the final one is one that I would, again, not class within the kind of, it's not targeted at kind of witchy kind of demographic in terms of it's not a witch oracle, but I do get the same vibes from it, and I do kind of love to use this. If I didn't have a lot of witchy decks, I would use it within my witchy readings as well. So this is the Deep, Dark and Dangerous Oracle by Stacey DeMarco. I have quite a few of Stacey DeMarco's decks. I have the Queen of the Sun Oracle, the Queen of the Moon Oracle, and I love using them for like one card pulls. And then I was like, I just love the artwork from this. So, and this red gilding is beautiful. So this kind of goes a bit deeper. I use this within my hidden depths reading, so it's really good at kind of digging into what is underneath the surface. Like that next card is just stunning. And I've learned quite a lot through reading this. I didn't know what fetch is, and now I know what fetch is. It's a doppelganger, but it has a particular legend attached to it about seeing your doppelganger, which I won't go into here. But yeah, the guidebook does really kind of dig deep into telling you what the myth is associated with it, and then the divinative kind of interpretation with it. And it's one that I would love to kind of dig more into the guidebook when I get time, because again, time is slipping through my fingers a lot. But yeah, so I love, I thought I'd turned them all back the right way. But yeah, I love this Anubis card. But yeah, it's just, her artwork is beautiful, and I was never really into kind of this photography style. Well, yeah, like realistic photography, you know, meets computer kind of style. But I do love Stacey DeMarco's like way of envisaging things and putting kind of the images together. And this, amazing. That's from the front of the book as well, the front of the deck. So yeah, this is, I love doing this with darker readings, you know, like shadow readings and things, because it has got that kind of witchy dark vibe with it, and it does go into your a lot of mystic mythology, a lot of folklore within it. I love the Morrigan. And yeah, and this vampire card, love it. You know, if that's not giving you Interview with a Vampire hints, you know, vibes. I just love that. My inner teenage goth girl loves this kind of card because it's got such a bit of nostalgia attached to it. So that was the Deep, Dark, and I mean, these backs are absolutely fantastic. This is the Deep, Dark, and Dangerous Oracle by Stacey DeMarco. So thank you for sticking with me through my top 5 witchy decks. I am going to be getting more witchy decks kind of coming soon, but again, it's when funds allow and things like that. So if you've got any witchy decks that you really, really like, please recommend them in the comments. I love to hear about new decks. I love to, you know, my wish list is ever expanding. I love to find out about new decks that are coming out. I do love to find out kind of what other people kind of like, especially in terms of your dark, your gothic, your witchy kind of alternative kind of vibe there. I do have cutesy decks, and I do have things like the Love Oracle and the Tell Me You Love Me deck and things like that, but my heart does sing in darkness. It's just the kind of shadow and the darkness and everything. I see the beauty there. Yeah, I just love it, and I love this time of year. Thank you for watching. If you are new, please can you drop a like? If you would drop a follow, that would be brilliant. A subscribe, and I'm going to be doing more decks. So I'll catch you soon, and bye for now.